Kevin Gordon here from Autosavant.com with your February 13th edition of the Afternoon Commute. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. If you haven't gone out and gotten your Valentine's presents, cards, you might want to do so immediately. Apologies for not being here last week. Was on a trip and then had a bit of a cold, which you'll get to hear on the video review of this fine 2012 Hyundai Veloster that I'm coming from you today for the first time. I have quite a bit of interior video for the Veloster, so stay tuned for that to follow up the written review. I still have to get to finishing editing the accent review, at least the video portion of it. So it's been a week, and during that week, the biggest thing that happened was the 2012 Chicago Auto Show, where, you know, typically not a ton happens. It isn't sort of one of the majors, although it is one of the larger shows of the year. But before we get to what debuted at the Chicago Auto Show, I did want to talk about something that popped up in the news today. It has to do with the Ford B-Max, which isn't a car that's sold in America and probably will not be anytime soon. It's basically a little people mover, as they call them in the UK, you know, small minivan, whatever you would like to call it. I believe the category over there is MPV. But the exciting thing about it is the fact that they are releasing one that's completely gotten rid of the B pillar. So the pillar that sits, you know, typically where the passenger door closes and the driver door closes, and they've put sliding rear doors on it, which makes it so that there's an enormous opening into the car when you open the frontwards door and slide the sliding rear door back. It's something that I've been a proponent of for quite a while, and I always said that if they had put sliding rear doors on cars like the Chrysler Pacifica and the Mercedes R-Class, they would have done much better with them. So with this little minivan, they've put these sliding doors on and absolutely no pillar, which, you know, I'm sure they're doing some sort of magic with high-strength steel and special reinforcements to keep it rigid. Really makes for an interesting thing, and hopefully it's a feature that may find its way onto some of the cars that are sold in America if they ever bring over one of their smaller utility vehicles / vans as we move into the future with the release of the next generation Ford Escape. The next thing for today is to talk a little bit about something that popped up on Autoblog and then was recovered by Jalopnik. And most of the headlines about it were, you know, here's a good way to waste some of your money, which I immediately did as well. And that is, there's a bunch of retro-looking car movie posters that an artist made available, and they go through quite a variety of vehicles. You know, the General Lee from Dukes of Hazzard, Kit from Knight Rider, so on and so forth. You know, the thing that got me to purchase was they have the Camaro from Better Off Dead, the classic 1980s John Cusack movie, which if you've never had the fortune of seeing 50 or 60 times, I highly recommend you doing so. So, you know, take a look over there. The links are easy to find, and if you'd like, please feel free to buy them. I can't imagine they'll last all that long because eventually you have to figure the movie studios will be going after them for some kind of fee, given the fact that they're, you know, using the likeness of what are probably some kind of marked items. All right, the 2012 Chicago Auto Show. What do we get? Well, the industrious folks in Korea continue to produce some pretty interesting stuff, and some cars that both in realistic form and in concept form are going to be very interesting in the near future. So in the realistic form, there was two things there that came out. One was a trim topping level of the Kia Optima that will be released this year and also the Hyundai Elantra GT, or whatever you'd like to call it. It's the Hyundai Elantra 5-door. Used to be a wagon. In this one, it's really the European version of, I believe, the i30 that they sell. It's a 4-door car with a hatchback that is wagon-like in shape. Its claim to fame is the fact that it's the lightest car in its segment, and lightness, of course, adds efficiency and performance and everything else. It's a very sharp-looking car for it being in the wagon class. And after I had the chance to spend some time in the Accent, which is its younger and smaller sibling, I would be very excited to get a chance to drive one of those. It's in the cheap and cheerful category of cars, and it should really, with the amount of interior space it has, be something very nice to live with on a daily basis. The fun thing that the Korean automakers, Kia specifically, brought out at the Chicago Auto Show was the Kia Traxster, which is fundamentally a Kia Soul, the small boxy car that they make, with 2 less doors, a significantly widened track, and a 250 horsepower turbocharged engine and all-wheel drive. It's, of course, a concept and probably will not be brought to market exactly as it is, but if you read their tweets that have been going out about it, it has received an enormously positive response, and the thing just looks great. I mean, it's gotten to a point in my life where I've started to judge cars that I like by how much they'd embarrass the living hell out of my wife to park in the driveway, as I've talked about before. Well, my wife would absolutely despise this thing, which, in all honesty, I have to say makes it a little extra neat in my book. What else came out in Chicago? I think, final noteworthy thing that came out was the previously leaked 2013 Shelby Ford Mustang GT500. So let's see, it's officially the Ford Shelby GT500. They don't actually put the word Mustang in the title of that car anymore. So it is the 650 horsepower carbon fiber drive shaft, Bilstein selectable ride supercar with the convertible top. The most noteworthy thing about that, it is going to be electronically limited to 155 miles an hour. The 202 mile an hour top speed of the coupe, I'm sure that they probably did some testing and figured out that it would just rip the top right of it off at those speeds. So it will be, of course, one of the most powerful convertibles out there. It is already going to be living with the most powerly, where did I get that stuck in my head today? It is the most powerful V8 in production currently. So look for that to start showing up on showroom floors with $10,000 to $15,000 in additional dealer markup later this year. That's what I have for today. The 18th afternoon commute to date so far. Be back tomorrow with some more stuff. I'm Kevin Gordon from Auto Savant, and I will talk to you tomorrow.